Some Burnley fans are saying that is it. We are up. It is done. There's no way we're bottling it from here. These three, though, not quite so much. Welcome back to Where Clarets Walk. It's 20 minutes of Burnley chat, and we're nearly there. Burnley back in the Premier League. 4 games to go. You can't mess it up from here, or can they? Good to have you back with us. Apologies for last week. I was ill, so we didn't get a chance to chat about it, but lots have happened since that, Jordan. Where are you at, my friend? Is this a case of can't go wrong from here? Are we up? We celebrate yet?
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that's home and dry now. I'd like to think that, the last few games we've got are mentally in our hands. I think Sheffield United slipping up and maybe showing the weaknesses when it didn't look like they had many, and it's come at a brilliant time. I think everything's fallen into place. I can't see us slipping up from here. If we did, then we have some serious, swallowing of our own medicine to do, because I'm sure we've all been slamming on Joy Division for the past few weeks.
Let's have a look at some tweets from it. Tony says, there's not a chance, Connor, that Burnley bottle it from here. They've chased down a big gap for weeks now, and it's gone. I said the other week, once we get into the top 2, we will stay there. Yeah. I mean, Connor, when you look at your fixtures, even if you lose to Sheffield United, you can still go up. Is it for you that simple now? You just need 2 more wins and you're done?
Well, I do think it's easier said than done. We know the Championship. We know that we've seen with Leeds, they were flying at one point and then they became winless in the last 6 or something ridiculous. But so it can happen to anybody. Although I do think we might not bottle it. I don't know. It's the Championship, but Scott Parker's king, so he'll get us up.
Yeah. Although having said that, there's some Scott Parker slander going on, which I need to come to you about as well. Yeah, absolutely unbelievable, isn't it? Here we go. Let's look at the 4 games then in question. Dan, Watford this Friday, the Blades on Monday, and then as we all know, we finish with away to QPR and home to Millwall. Any on there scare you at all?
No. Full. Done.
Dusted.
Done,
yeah. In the bag.
Weird thing is, I was chatting to a Burnley fan, right? We're 5 points clear with 4 games left, right? I was chatting to him about Aki Stanley. They're 6 points clear with 4 games left of relegation. And they said, oh, they're safe. Don't you worry about it. I said, Burnley 5 points clear with 4 games left. Oh, it's very tight. It's very tight. It's just the way it is. Watford away should be a win. I'm not saying it will be, but it should be on paper. And then 2 wins, beat Watford, beat Sheffield United, and then we can take our foot off the gas because the job's done. I think we've said it all season. I've said Leeds will win it. We'll go second. I've said it for a long time. We've all pretty much been banging that drum. And in essence, it's pretty much there. I don't see Leeds slipping up. They were falling apart a bit, but then they've gathered themselves. But Sheffield United have lost 3 against Oxford, Plymouth, and you'll correct me on the other one. Millwall is the other one. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see anyone beating us. We might not win them all, but I don't see anyone beating us. And even if we get 2 draws in the next 2 games, I think that's enough.
I think most of the betting has stopped now on Burnley and Leeds being the 2. I mean, I'm sure you've all enjoyed the meltdown at Sheffield United, and in particular Chris Wilder, who I'm guessing none of you have got much sympathy for, given he's the biggest wind-up merchant going the managers. Jordan, have you been surprised though? Got it. Have you been surprised at just how bad the fall-off has been?
I have, because like I echoed on Where Blades Walk, I do think Sheffield United, as far as it goes, are a really good side with a lot of talent within that. I can't understand how they have fallen off the way they have, losing to the likes of, your Oxfords and things like that. Understandably, Oxford really came for that game, but it is a peculiar one, and it almost leaves you in the realm of what has happened to cause that. It's quite a, because nothing on the face of it has been very drastic. Today, I know, and I do like having a little wind up of Chris Wilder. I don't really like him either, but you can't knock. He's passionate, isn't he? That's all it is. If he's a fan. If I were a Burnley manager, what would I do? I'm not going to. You know what I mean? That's the way I see things on that front.
Okay. All right, let's switch back then to talking about Burnley. So there has been the usual brigade out, Connor, in relation to Scott Parker. Richard here says, can I just say, I'm sick to death of the Parker slander. Every game we win out, we were on 100 points. The job he's done is brilliant. 25 players left, 25. He's been a great appointment. And it's those fans that are saying, well, okay, it's boring football, can't stand to watch it. He's going to get sacked within a month of the Premier League. Does he deserve more credit than what some parts of your fan base give him, Connor?
Absolutely. I think he was really dealt a tough hand in the summer window. And honestly, after those 25 players left, I was on Twitter saying, if he wants to leave, by all means go. Because it was a big turnaround. And I think the way he's built the togetherness in the team, with also help from Brownhill and things like that, you can't fault the man on that front, can you? Really, you can't really fault the man, can you? No. Oh, sorry, Brownhill. I wasn't even trying to make a joke.
So you've got him. You've got him twitching.
I didn't think of that. But no, I think
Don't mention his name.
No, I think we should get rid of this Scotty P slander now because I think it's absolutely outrageous. But he's done a great job, and they say he's boring football. You look at Sheffield United; they don't deserve half the wins they've got. I'm just saying they play some pretty anti-football. That's all I'm gonna say.
We'll look at some anti-Burnley tweets in a second from other fans and get your reactions to it. Because I think when any team is successful, there'll always be those knockers and those naysayers. But down in the Scott Parker bit from his own fan base, where do you understand it? Can you understand any ounce of it? The fans?
No, not at all. All right, and I might be, I'll be polar opposites to other people. I don't understand what people want from him, right? We all know what he had to deal with. We all know what he had all these players leave, etc. And he was dealt a really rough hand. He's given some money to spend. He spent $500,000 on Laurent. He spent money here and there. He didn't have a team until the window closed. He had no preseason with him. All the other players that were there all then left. To be second, 88 points, undefeated in 29. I'm sorry, if you don't like Scotty Parker, go and support somebody else because you're not supporting the team. You're not supporting Burnley. There is no... Okay, other managers may do it equally as well, but I can't imagine many other managers would have done better with a crop of players he was inherited without any time with them to get the run of results that he has done. And I appreciate people will say, well, you've got claret glasses on, what have you, but I don't care. They are talking absolute nonsense. They want to go and watch free-flowing football, fine. Go and watch Luton. They're getting battered every week, and they're that second bottom. They came down the same as us. They were given the same parachute payments that we were. They were given the same money. Scotty Parker was told he had to lose 150 million worth of talent. I'm probably a little bit out of that figure, but it's a there or thereabouts. And he's done, in my opinion, a phenomenal job. A phenomenal job. I mean, people will tell me I'm wrong, comment, like, whatever, but I can't say how high I rate him.
Jordan?
I can only echo what Dan just said. I think it's a bit of debris in it from the Premier League, really, these kind of fans. They're only bothered about us when we're up there. They haven't sat in the depths that us lads have sat in and watched us get, hammered to pieces off nobody teams in the lashing down rain. So what we're going on this 29 undefeated, I mean, my God, we used to sing at 23 for Sean Dyche, and that went on even after he'd left the club. But it feels like nobody's even sniffed at that. I certainly haven't heard the 29 undefeated chant in the same element that I used to hear it for Sean. Not taking anything away from Sean, but yeah, I think anyone to look at Scott Parker's resume of what he's done with Burnley, and like we say, the mass exodus, we've spoke about it. And if you were to look at that grounds and think that anyone of any stature at any team would have come in and done a better job, you're foolish.
Okay. I mean, you'll all see the tweets from rival fans, Premier League fans, Blackburn fans, Preston, whatever, who all say, look, enjoy the Premier League. You'll be back here in 12 months' time anyway. Enjoy it. Does it bother you that, fans are not giving you the credit that this is a stronger Burnley side with a arguably better manager who is going to have to adapt and has been there before, don't forget.
It's that big green-eyed monster again, isn't it? It's just jealousy. It is just jealousy, and it's just one thing to get over on someone, saying, "Oh, you'll be back here in 12 months." Laughing at someone being in the Premier League when you aren't there is like being homeless and laughing at someone for having an house. It doesn't make sense. It's pointless. Jealousy. It's just jealousy.
Yeah, I mean, just to highlight a few of them, not that you need to. Alan says, "What a boring team! Score, then pass the ball backwards for the rest of the game." The one at the bottom here says, 13 goals in 42 will be 13 in just 2 games next season, lads, and you know it just as well. Like you say, there is a bitterness and a hatred. But Connor, generally, do you think Burnley deserve more credit as a team from other fans, given what achieved 29 defeated, 13 goals conceded all season? I mean, is there more that should be written about this side than what we're seeing?
Yeah, and I think it's just because we're bloody Burnley. No one likes us. Scott Parker, no one rates him. But it's just you'll always have the doubters. But if we stay up next season, that proves them wrong, and then we can then laugh at them because they'll still be in the Championship or League One or God, wherever you are. But no, we deserve more credit, but we'll always get his on, won't we? Bloody Burnley.
All right. Just a couple of players from that game then, please. Daniel Edwards, our Norwich fans wanted to highlight themselves just how brilliant he was. How good is he?
He's very good. I think there was a stat floating around, it's certainly been online, that our expected goals or our actual goals have increased since he's been in the squad. Now, whether that's because he's taking people away from other players and opening up the gaps and what have you, I don't know. But certainly he's a handful. He's only small in stature, but he's fairly strong as well. He goes past players and he gives them a good old wrestle as he does. He got booked for a dive, which I thought were a bit harsh. I've seen it back. I thought it weren't a dive. Yeah. But he's a talented young guy, and I think he's very, very good.
Okay, and we've also got to talk about Jaden Anthony, haven't we? But let's go to Connor for that one, given his love for him. It was a couple of weeks ago we were calling him out of being a bit quiet and maybe not getting involved, but I think he's listened to this video since then because he's been unstoppable, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I've said it all season. I think everything's come through him. And really, people are only coming to terms with how good he is because you've got Edwards. You've got players marking Edwards now. They've got to be careful of him. That opens up the space for Anthony to do his stuff when he's been doing it all season. And maybe some games he's looked like, it's been a bit crap, but he was the only man willing to get forward and actually bring something to the team. But I've rated him all season, and Jaden, I love him.
Okay. All right, promotion party against Millwall then. It is on. We'll see you in the Royal Dyche. It's 11 o'clock for a bacon butty and a pint. There you go. Right, we're choosing our player of the season now. Only 3 to go, so we'll do this now before the club finally announce theirs. Hopefully they haven't done yet. Tough one, this, Jordan, but who are you going for and why?
Is this that have come to the turf?
We'll do that in a minute. Just do the Burnley one first. Yeah, all right.
Player of season. Yeah. That's easy. It's got to be Esteve. Obviously, Esteve, Steve, whatever you want off me. He's big Steve, isn't it? I've never seen a defender in the Championship read a game the way he does. He's fantastic. He's calmness on the ball in moments where everyone else would panic. Really, his calmness to that back line of defence, the mature head he holds. At 22 years old and commanding his defence, he's commanding his midfield line. That boy, captain for France. Now I've said it now. That's happening.
I've read somewhere he's coming to Everton for 15 million. So
don't start, Mark. What we told you.
Dan,
go Connor, because I'll probably nick his.
Go on, Connor.
Right. I was going to say Steve, which yes, I do think so. But if we're going to, that's the boring answer. I'm going to say Anthony is my other one. It's a bit of a wild card. I just rewind like a couple of minutes before just to see what I said about him because I can't be asked to say no.
Good to know. Cheers, Connor. Dan?
I'll go Josh Cullen. I just think that he has been amazing. Don't get me wrong, Steve, I think will win it. And I think most people will back him because he's been immense. But I think CJ, an honourable mention to CJ Egan-Riley's too. It's got to be somebody from that group, given the defensive record. You can't have that record and then say a striker's player of the season. But I think Josh Cullen has to be part of that because he breaks up the play. his touch, his pass. I mean, you saw his pass for Hannibal against Norwich. You know, he just lofts it over one of the tallest players in the league. And, but what he does, a lot of the kind of dog work that goes kind of unseen, unnoticed, but his passing as well. He's been braying him about. I don't know why he struggled last year. He obviously did, whether the level's too much for him, but he's certainly in this level, this league, he's been phenomenal. But Steve,
all good shots. Okay. No one said Trafford, which is interesting.
I was going to say that as like an honourable mention. That could be a massive one in there because of his revival from last season to what he is now.
All right, good shouts. Let us know in the comments whether they've missed any or which one of those three you agree with. Finally, this week we're choosing the Championship player of the season as well. We're asking each of our panel here to choose the one player which they've seen who doesn't wear a Burnley shirt across any of the 23 clubs which they have sat and watched either live or in person or on TV against Burnley that has impressed them the most. So, Jaden Ante already has one vote from another club, already mentioned. James Trafford already has a mention from another club already. So, Jordan, who for you?
I'm going to go now just on how sheerly impressed I was when I saw him. Now, I don't know if he's carried it on. I don't know if he did it before. But when he came to us, every time the ball touched his feet, I saw danger. And that was Ben Doak from Middlesbrough. I thought he was an absolute talisman. He was absolutely brilliant. It weren't as tough as I thought it would be because the Championships felt a little bit lacklustre. But every time Ben Doak had the ball at his feet, you can see the quality of the boy. You were dragging players left, right, and centre. And he were almost dictating their attacking mindset.
Well, thank you, Connor.
I have Ben Doak written down, but I think I'm going to go with Georgie Chakvetadze from Watford. I think when he came to us, he was a bit quieter than what he usually is, but he's been my favourite Championship player, bar Jaden Anthony, to watch all season. But yeah, no, he's whenever the ball gets to his feet, he's an absolute magnet, and he can produce some out of nothing. So yeah, Chakvetadze.
Great stuff. Dan?
Mine's a bit boring, really. It's a bit of an obvious answer, but I don't know if he's shone against us, but I've seen enough of him this season to think he's brilliant. He plays for Leeds. He's Dan James. You know, he's just a quality player. You know, he's got a few goals. He's got a good handful of assists. He's always calm and composed on the ball. Leeds fans may disagree, but every game I watch, he's always making headlines for one reason or another. And like I say, I can't say he stuck out in my mind when he played us. But I do watch a lot of games that aren't Burnley in the Championship, and every time you do, he always has a good game.
Okay, 3 good shots there, and let us know yours in the comments below. Who's impressed whenever you've seen them play against Burnley? Right, you lot. Squeaky bum time. We will see you in 7 days' time when you will have played both Watford and Sheffield United, and we will know a lot more about where this is going. So join us for that next week. Have a great Easter, all of you. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the 2 games this weekend of the Clarets.
See you in the Premier League.
Scotty P. Steve.